a millionaire in all 6 aspects of health. That's right, it's not just about a big pile of money. We share tips every week to improve your physical, mental, spiritual, financial, intellectual, and your social health. This week, we're focusing on how to improve your social health by connecting with new people. Ooh, that's a tough one. Everyone has a best friend, but how often do you improve your best friends? If you've never seen Millionaires Are Made, this is the show built on the fundamental beliefs that every person you meet knows something you don't, just like the shirt says. And there's something to be learned from everyone in this big, beautiful world. We are on a mission to teach the world how to grow into the healthiest. So what you hear from them is the first. Can't wait to see what advice is shared. Audience, this is an interactive show. Please leave comments, leave questions. We will ask them live on air. And real quick, we will also be shouting out some followers. If you want to be shouted on our show, feel free to follow. On Facebook, we got Ron Volkel, Instagram, Sean Michael, TikTok, Stacy Bowman, and YouTube, Morgana Marie. Thank you so much for following us. If you ever want to be a guest on our show, we already know that you have something to share. Please just drop a line real quick. Let us know. We'll get you on a show and have you share your info. If you have a topic, something in your life holding you back, maybe you're not as fit as you want to be, maybe spiritually you feel a little lost, or maybe financially your bank account's smaller, give us your topic. We will go out and find 3 awesome guests to go and give you advice on how to get through it. We also thank you so much for watching. If you love what we do, please share, like, subscribe, send stars, whatever it takes to help us keep going forward. We are on episode 153, and we'd love to do another 5,000 to help the world grow. On that note, I love offering coaching. I do a free coaching offer every week. If you want to sign up and get a free one-on-one consultation about just about anything you want to talk about, I would love to meet you, talk, and see if we can grow together. That link is being dropped right now. And finally, merchandise. If you want a cool shirt like mine or any of our other stuff, we'll drop that link right now to see if you can get some Millionaires Are Made merchandise. And last but not least, our sponsors. Our first sponsor for this show is Craig Sikofsky, who's an amazing human behaviorist and mentor. He helps entrepreneurs discover their true identity, purpose, and then helps them achieve growth in business and life, which some entrepreneurs tend to forget. Our second sponsor is Sarah Jones, who used to be buried in debt in an unhappy marriage, tried to get some coaching for finances and realized it wasn't for her. So she went, dug in, studied, and now her and her husband are happy as hell, traveling the U.S. in an RV and teaching others how to have a healthy financial foundation. Next sponsor is Dana Record. Dana empowers over 30-year-old individuals with essential end-of-life planning knowledge. So she helps families reduce stress and navigate loss of loved ones with clarity, preparedness, and peace of mind. And our final sponsor today is Roxandra. Roxandra is a passionate mom of 2 under 2, also a podcast host, a speaker, and founder of Super Moms Magic Circle, helping heart-led moms turn chaos into clarity and build soul-aligned success. Roxandra is awesome, and if you would like to be a sponsor, just shoot us a line. We love having new sponsors and helping people grow their small businesses. Without further ado, it is time to bring out our first guest, who is our famous friend, a mayor of a small town in Colorado. His name is Saam. Saam, who are you?
How's it going? I'm Saam, as you said. Um, I live up in the mountains in Colorado. I am now a recently retired and recovering politician. So my last day was the first week of November after almost 17 years of being in
Wow.
small town politics. But as far as work goes, other than enjoying the mountains where I live and skiing and hiking, I'm the founder of a nonprofit organization, World Music Development, which is about improving and enhancing communities around the world through the universal language of music. And more recently, because of the event world, the event landscape really hasn't returned to what it was, especially for small independent events. We have shifted our focus and mission and have created a platform that I've developed recently for connecting independent musicians to the music industry and the professionals in the world. It's called the Indie Music Alliance. So basically, we've created the first Angie's List of the music industry now, which is a great way for
Cool.
musicians to connect with the professionals that they need. Yeah.
After this show, remind me, Sam, I got someone to connect you with. He's the owner of University of Rock, so it might be something there. But first, I have a very important question for you. If I wanted to improve my social health by connecting with new people, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
I would say getting out of your comfort zone. We hear that uh, saying a lot. Life happens outside of our comfort zone. So I say this, I joke around this. People around me disagree. I say I'm an introvert stuck in an extrovert's body. For some of us, it's easier to get out there. But yeah, I've been good at reaching out to people. Things I was talking to one of our other guests here, Rob, earlier backstage, that I've been doing this through music and live events. Music has the power of uniting people, bringing people together. So one advice I would, from my experience, get out to shows, get out to concerts, get out to festivals. You will meet some amazing people. And the beauty of that type of environment is usually, in my experience, these types of events don't have political, religious leaning or anything like that. People are there to be who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So you really get to meet the authentic people in those kind of scenarios. That's what my advice would be. Get out of your comfort zone, to music events. You'll meet some wonderful people.
That's a pretty good point. I mean, music is nonpartisan. Music is everyone loving and dancing. So that's a really good point. Sam, where in your life journey did you learn this advice?
Uh, from my experience of leaving the country I was born in and coming to United States, it was music that really, for me, one, music was a great thing for my mental health growing up because I grew up in Iran during a time that a revolution happened very shortly after and quickly after that, followed by a war that went on for 10 years or so, which I got out before the came to the United States. It was really through music that I connected with other kids, other teenagers. That's created lifelong friendships for me. So I would say it was at a very, fairly young age in my teen years that I discovered music has the power of uniting people. This cliche that we hear, music is the universal language. It made a lot more sense when I experienced it for myself of how it does bring people together. I use this as an example. The first band I played in Dallas area that we're all still great friends to this day said the makeup of the band sounded like a joke. It was three Jews, two Muslims, a Christian, and an atheist that walk into the venue. That was our band, but none of us really cared about our background, and it was the power of music that united us and made that connections for us. And like I said, to this day, we're still in contact. We even do union shows every 5 to 10.
Awesome. I love it. All right, Sam, we're going to move on to our next guest and we'll bring you out for the round robin. Next
All
up,
right.
we
Thank
have
you, Austin.
Mikki. Mikki, tell me, who are you?
I am Mikki Shephard, and I sometimes think I've had too many things to describe me, so it would take forever. But I'm a veteran and retired from real estate. But lately, for the last 5, 6 years, I'm the author of a book It's called In a Heartbeat, The Miracle of a Family That Was Meant to Be. It's a true story. It's actually my story about our son. And that book led to a podcast. It started out as a radio show, now it's a podcast called Adoption as a Choice. So that is basically where I am. I'm an advocate for adoption. Not a political show, but I do believe that if we keep using the word that people have a choice, then let's tell them what the choices are. And it's become my mission. If one birth mother makes a decision like ours did, it touches so many people and grows a family. And it's all about love. It's not about giving something up.
That's fantastic. I like that. Okay. All right, Mikki. Now I have an important question for you. Not that the last one wasn't, but if I wanted to improve my social health by connecting with new people, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
I would say try to find networking events. They're all over the place. There's there's BNIs, there's Toastmasters, Toastmistress. There's different events. This time of year, there's usually different shows. Like a home and garden show or things like that. But it gets you out in person with people. I think the most important thing is get offline. We all spend too much time there. And if you want to meet people, really meet people, real friends, just go. You'll be surprised. You'll probably run into somebody you know. But even if you don't, it's a nice, unintimidating atmosphere where you can just go and meet people and start to discover things about yourself, possibly. I think it's just so important.
Awesome. I love it. Mikki, where on your life journey did you learn this advice?
As a real estate agent. One of the things, I was in Colorado for many, many years selling real estate, and then we moved to New York. And I did get into real estate here. I wasn't going to, but when I did, the first thing I said to my broker was, let me use one of your listings to have an open house, because it's a way to get to know people. It's a nice, non-threatening way. And then I went to networking events, any possible one I could go to get to meet people, other agents primarily, but you need that. You have to have that kind of atmosphere. I think I'm just a networker at heart. Because of how our son came to us, that was through Women's Council of Realtors, which was a big time networking organization all over the country. So networking has very positive impacts. Not everybody will get a baby from it, like I did, but I always said it was the best referral and most expensive referral I ever received. But seriously, you meet people that become lifelong friends. And they're people who tend to gravitate to those kinds of events are people that want to work with people. They tend to be mentors or they need a mentor, but it's a great way to meet the people that are actually out there and grow your own social network.
I love it. Thank you so much, Mikki, for the insight. We'll bring you back out in the round robin. We're going to bring our next guest out here. Next up, we have Rob. Rob, tell us, who are you?
Hey, Austin, how's it going? Yeah, I'm Rob. I'm a prime performance coach, speaker, podcast host, and workshop facilitator. I wear a lot of different hats, but most of the time I'm spent. Yeah, of course. Most of the time it's connecting with individuals and helping them level up, and with whether it's self-leadership or personal development or teaching public speaking to different crowds and such. So, very active guy.
Awesome. Well, I think you're going to be the perfect guy for this next question. If I wanted to improve my social health by connecting with new people, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
Yeah, one tiny piece of advice to help building better connections, I think, is to remember that it's not always necessarily about more connections as much as it is building deeper connections. And I say that because a lot of people say the more hands you shake, the more money you're going to make. And although that might be true, I think if you can develop deeper relationships and better relationships with individuals, you'll go much further with your business and personal life as well. So it's a blend, and keeping that in mind.
All right, then I'm going to follow up on that. When we're connecting with new people, what are some things that you do to make that connection a little bit deeper? rather than shaking all the hands, what else would you suggest?
Yeah, I think taking a step back from the professional standpoint. A lot of people go to all these networking events and the shows, like Mikki was just saying, and people kind of go into it looking for what's in it for me. Like, hey, who can I sell this product to, whatever it may be. When I go to these different events, I just genuinely try to connect with people, like figure out who would be cool enough to want to go grab sushi with me, or who wants to go snowboarding, like Saam and I were kind of talking a little bit before off camera. It's really about finding people who are cool and can connect with you, and you can kind of develop a little bit deeper. So as you kind of continue to go through, there's a lot of opportunities where there's going to be tons and tons of people, but most of the time, those people who you can kind of develop a better relationship through by like genuinely showing interest in what they've got going on and who they are as an individual. That's how you set the tone and stage for future interactions and connections with that individual.
All right, we got a comment that says your network is your net worth. So I see that you're saying a deeper network is better than a shallow, wide network. Does that sound correct?
Yeah, I believe so, because just like your Wi-Fi, you could have a very terrible network and your net worth is going to be the same way. But having stronger signals, stronger relationships, stronger connections, that's going to help you multiply your net worth, because you can go out and you can connect with 10 individuals at one event and then have it such surface level relationship that's pretty much where that ends. But if you go to that same event and you connect with 3 individuals and you make such a strong impression, those 3 individuals are going to go and share you to another 10 of their individuals. So where you originally go in thinking you're coming away with 3 strong connections, you're really walking away with potentially way more.
I love it. Little referral network. Get them nice and tight in there. All right. Where on your life journey did you learn this tip?
Yeah, actually, it was at a Yankees game almost 10 years ago.
Perfect.
Yeah, my buddies and I, we were just getting back from school or something like that. And my one friend invited me and my buddy to the game. And he goes, hey, man, it's a Sunday night baseball game. There's a pretty good opportunity for us to get on television. So we were super excited. We wanted to enjoy our 15 minutes of fame or whatever. But to increase our odds, we decided to show up in full uniform, but not the kind of uniform you might be thinking. My one buddy was dressed in full Green Man suit. The other guy dressed as a taco, and I went as Santa Claus. And it was interesting. And I'll tell you what,
Santa Claus. I love it.
yeah, it worked so well too. We had like a line of people waiting to take photos with us. We must have connected with like 300 people that day. And by the time we were getting through that, we realized it was already the 5th inning, so we had to quickly go and catch up. But the funny thing is, out of all those people that we met that day, like I don't remember any of them. The only ones I do remember were Taco and Green Man. And then that hit hard with me, and that's been with me ever since.
That's fascinating. I have a somewhat similar story that I'm going to go really fast in.
Sure.
World Cup, Qatar, USA versus Iran. I'm wearing basically a Green Man, but American flag, skin tight American flag suit with some other American flag stuff around me. And I believe for the next 24 hours, I was probably on 80% of Iranian social media. Every Iranian there was coming up in pictures, interviews. I was on news channels. It was highly fascinating.
That's awesome.
Cool. All right, Rob, we're going to move on to our round robin. We're going to bring Saam and Mikki out. And audience, this is the greatest time ever for you to ask questions. So if you have any questions or comments, please bring them out. But let's start with Saam. Saam, can you quickly refresh what your tip was for us?
My tip was get out of your comfort zone. Get out to musical events that people are truly their genuine selves, and connect with people that way. It's a very fun way to connect with people. I want to throw this in here too. We've heard this saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. I heard a wise man recently say, well, it's not what you know or who you know, it's who knows you. And I've heard these networking events from Mikki and Rob, which I agree with. I'm going to a networking event this evening. it's like, yeah, how do you leave an impression in a way that you're not pushy also, but people get to know who you are and remember you when you walk out of that networking event as well.
I love it. That's great. Great tip. Great tip. Mikki, what are your thoughts on Saam's tip?
I think it was wonderful. It did. Networking is something that doesn't go away. And I think over the last however many years, when you say networking, people think Facebook, Instagram, and they're great. They really are. But you still need to see people. And I totally agree with Rob. It is, you're not going to a network event to try to sell anything. You know, here I am, buy from me. You're going there to meet people. And when they know that's what you're doing, your response is much higher. They appreciate it. It makes sense to them. Although I've been to a lot of Yankee games and I've never been dressed up as Santa Claus or a taco. And now I'm wishing I was.
Hey, you still have a chance, Mikki. You still got a chance. Maybe Rob will rent you a suit.
There you
Rob,
go.
Rob, what are your thoughts on Saam's tip?
Yeah, I loved it. I'm a huge fan of pushing the comfort zone and kind of expanding it. But I would actually build onto yours, though. I would also recommend people going and trying to experience music that you might not be familiar with. Because a lot of people, it brings in that new perspective, trying new music, getting a new feel for things. And like from different music concerts and music festivals and places. I remember first being introduced to jazz. I never even really liked jazz, thought I liked jazz until I was down in New Orleans, and I didn't realize how much fun I could have just hanging out and listening to it. And so I think you're onto something great there with that.
All right, I'm going to step in real quick here for all of you. So let's see, you say step out of your own comfort zone. Okay, how do we do that? Let's say I'm losing friends. Maybe I am an introvert. I'm at home a lot. I hang out with my cats. I read books. And I'm like, man, I wish I could connect with a few new people. And I keep hearing how to get out of my comfort. I need to get out of my comfort zone. What are some like 2 or 3 super simple steps that you could take that would be getting out of your comfort zone, helping you connect with new people? Saam, I'll let you start. And then Rob, since you touched on it, I'll let you finish.
How to get out of your comfort, it's the Nike slogan, just do it, that's what I would say. um for me, sometimes it's harder to explain it because it comes to me naturally
Yeah.
a lot of times to get out of my comfort zone. um but again, it's not comfortable going up to a stranger and even putting your hand out, shaking their hand, and introducing yourself. So yeah, I make myself do it, and we're sometimes so conscious about ourselves of how we're coming across. I'm like, forget that. Everybody has that going on in their head as well. It's not just us that we're constantly criticizing ourselves. Other people are doing it too. That and other people that you may see that they look very confident in a room in a public setting, they have the same challenges as well. So just get up there and go shake someone's hand and introduce yourself.
Yeah, like Mikki said, networking is a great way. And if you're not used to it, it could be your comfort zone, but maybe it's nice. Maybe you're very business oriented. Rob, what ideas do you have to get out of your comfort zone?
Yeah, I mean, the easier ones would be to kind of just pick a hobby or something that you're interested in and look for events and different things that are in your area so you can get connected with other individuals. Or if you want to take it up a notch, you kind of like sit back and, or if you're like me, I guess, when had very low amount of hobbies and not really too sure in the first place, what I did was I just looked at what are the things that I want to do and what would be like the opposite of that. And essentially, that's
Oh,
how I
okay.
kind of got into public speaking, and that's how I got into some cooking more and some other things. I'm looking at like even for my workouts, like what exercises do I hate to do, and then I'm like, all right, well, let me try sprinkling some of that in a little bit, and it's a small opportunity for you to kind of push yourself because you either show up to the challenge or you default to going to something else, and you build those small little wins. You start to build up a little more confidence. The more confidence you have, the bigger and broader comfort zone you're going to have.
I like that. Think of the opposite So if you love sports, go take a dance lesson. If you like board games, go to Dave and Buster's and do athletic games. I don't know. Give me some more examples.
Yeah, if you're a big sports person, maybe go check out the library. If you love skiing and snowboarding so much, why not head to the beach? If you're
Okay.
into music, maybe checking out like an art class or a painting. Or if you're
Yeah.
an introvert, go to the bar and hang out.
Ooh, yeah, that's tough for introverts. I could see some of them cringing when you said that. I could feel that. Great. I love that. So get out of your comfort zone. Do the opposite of what you normally do. But even if you do love something, you can still, go to a new group. If you are a giant bookworm and you're in 5 book clubs, you could always do like an anime book club or a fiction book club or a specific type of that item to move there. Oh man, we got so many questions. All right. Yeah, sorry I wasn't here last week. I was volunteering at a big carnival my island had. I'm here now, Power of Song. Let's move forward. All right, Roxandra, what were your benefits of going out of your comfort zone? Ooh, this is for anyone. Who wants it?
I'll do it.
Do it.
Yeah. No, when many years ago, when I was very involved in real estate, I wrote an article for the national magazine Realtor Today, and I got a call. Could you turn this into a seminar, and would you like to speak? I didn't tell them, but I quit every course in college if I had to give a speech at that point. And I finally decided, you know what? Nobody else knows that I'm that terrified of doing this. And I did it. And it led to ongoing seminars. The biggest crowd was 6,000 at the Jacob Javits Center in New York. But that was so big of getting out of your comfort zone when you're that nervous. But my husband was with me and he said something happened. And maybe this is an idea. If you go networking, take a friend. He knew how nervous I was before that very first time. And he said, and then you got up there and you started talking. And he said, and all your nervousness came to me and you were fine. Because it is. And when you're getting out of your comfort zone, you get nervous. One of the things I think I've learned, if you're nervous, it means you really care about it, that this is important to you. It's normal to be nervous. And if you're absolutely not, probably not the best event to go to because your heart's not in it. You're not going to open your mind or your heart to meet anybody new.
Solid. Rob, Saam, anything you quickly want to add before we move on to another question?
Tom, I'll let you take it.
As far as what made wonderful connections for me throughout my journey, I wouldn't be here right now hadn't connected with you. So that's the other thing. We should remember that with today's technology, we also have networking opportunities online. So getting out of my comfort zone has made wonderful people like all of you and connect with, and it continues on.
I guess I'll touch on that too, because I used to think podcasts were the dumbest things on the planet. And somehow, for some reason, I don't know how this idea came. I just traveled a lot and got frustrated that simple ideas as an American, in foreign countries weren't expressed there. And I was like, man, and like just all my friends, it actually really kind of started. My friend's a mechanic. And he's like, oh, you don't know how to do this, like adding oil or something like that. I was like, no. He's like, oh, that's so stupid. The world should know that. And I'm like, there's so many things the world should know. And that was pretty much how this came. And now every week I'm here doing a podcast thinking they were stupid. And now we're meeting and connecting and all sorts of stuff. But that's my story there. You can talk to me more about it later. Let's go to this next question. How do you know when you step out of your comfort zone? Great question.
I'll dive in with that one. I think that's a great question. I think when you kind of reflect on yourself and how you're feeling with whatever activity or event or situation you're in, because a lot of times nervousness and excitement are essentially the same emotion or feeling. And I think when you are still experiencing it as nervousness, I think then that's outside of your comfort zone. And as it continues to I guess as you continue to become less sensitive to that, you become more excited and looking forward to that, whatever it may be. And that I constantly thinking about like standing up and speaking on stage and things like that. In the beginning, I'd be super, super nervous. And now I look forward to the next opportunity. And I've realized that that's now me kind of pushing a little bit further. And now my comfort zone is now expanded as I continue to speak on different stages and podcasts and such. And I look forward to it. And now I'm looking for new ways to kind of reintroduce certain things that continue to make me better with that skill. For example, one of my good friends, Brandon, he started as a public speaker and continued to talk on stages. And now he's blending in a lot more comedy by going to open mic nights and teaching himself how to write jokes and to build up his skills. He's not the funniest guy in the bunch, but he's definitely getting a lot better. And I think that's a perfect example of it.
Very cool. That's great. Anyone want to add anything, or should we move to another question?
I'll jump in. I'll just add, just to build on what Rob was saying. Because you feel those butterflies in your stomach. You feel your heart rate going up when you're out of your comfort zone. If it feels natural and normal, I'll tell you, you're not out of your comfort zone. You're not pushing it hard enough. So that's what I would add.
I think you also have to be aware, just if I can add in that, just something popped in my mind when Saam said that. You could be at a grocery store and somehow wind up meeting somebody. You didn't go to the grocery store to network, but you can. And I learned this when I wrote my book. And when it first came out, I was so excited. If a live human being got in front of me, I started talking about the book. And I noticed if I was having a bad day, I should go someplace like a grocery store or any place, because there'll be somebody somewhere that wants to bump into me that day. And it's amazing. If you're convinced somebody wants to bump into you, they'll find you. And the next thing you know, you're talking about your book or whatever it is. But that's totally getting out of your comfort zone. It's not something you wake up in the morning and say, let me go find some stranger in the grocery store. Does that make sense? Because I know I found it. And I used to, in fact, I have a doctor friend, and I said, you know what I found? If I find somebody I can talk to about my book, this is a book about 6 years ago. I said, I have no pain. There's nothing wrong with my life at all. And she wrote down her cell phone number, and she said, if you feel that way again, just call me. I love to hear about your book. So I'm not going to call you at 3 a.m. But I still have the cell phone, and I do occasionally call, but not for that. But it was just people handle honesty, I believe, and if you tell people whatever's going on in your life, they're usually going to turn around and tell you the true story of what's going on in their life. And that's what makes good connections.
Sounds like a deep connection too, like Rob said. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. All right, we got one more question and then we're going to have to wrap this up. Have you ever experienced a relationship that changed your life just by being open to a new connection? Mine did.
Many times, I would say. Yeah. Many relationships. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So the answer is yes. Quick answer. Yeah.
Go ahead, Sam. I'll let you finish.
No, that was it.
Yeah, I was going to say, like the relationships are going to change. People come into your lives for different seasons and different reasons. And as long as you continue to be open to going out and exploring new connections and relationships and friends and such, like your life is just going to continue to grow and evolve and change. And I think the better thing to look at here is your life continuing to grow and change in the ways that you want to? Back in a previous life of my strength and conditioning career, I was in a situation where I had plenty of clients and my business was doing great on paper, but I was so stagnant because I wasn't open to going out and connecting with new people. So I would see the same individuals day after day after day. And as everybody else is continuing to get better around me, my personal life started falling apart, deteriorating. The relationship with the girl I was dating, the friends and family that I had around me, everybody stopped calling, and I ended up becoming the shell version of myself. And until I had that ability to sit and reflect and realize that I need to get out into the world and start connecting with new individuals so I can start to bring in new perspectives and look through life through a new lens. If I didn't do that, then I might still be in the gym right now training people. and you got to be open to that.
It's true.
Well said,
Very
Rob.
true.
Well said. All right. Any last touches? And
No, I think to add to that, if you add to that the fact that if you're hanging on to something that really isn't what you want, you're not opening the door for anything new, that new connection.
Ooh, well
And
said.
it's really important. Several years ago, when we first moved back to New York, I didn't know anybody yet, and I took a job. And that job was making me more and more miserable. And one night I was at home with my husband. I said, you know what? I've got to get rid of it. Nothing good is going to come if I don't stop it. And he agreed that let's just end it. We'll be fine. 30 minutes after I ended it, the American Red Cross called my house and offered me a job. And I didn't even know I had ever applied for a job there. And a week later, I was the sales and marketing director for the New York Penn region. You got to get rid of one thing to let the other part in. And it always works. I think Wayne Dyer used to talk about this a lot.
Awesome. All right, guys. It is my favorite part of the show. We have to come up with our daily challenge. This is a task or series of tasks that takes less than 5 minutes a day. Costs $0. Is available to anyone in the world from Australia to Scotland that helps us improve our social health by connecting with new people. What ideas do you guys have?
Thank you notes.
Tell us more.
If you can do one or you can do 3 a day, but there are people you meet, there's a lot of reasons. They're not necessarily saying thank you, but just jot a handwritten note to somebody, and you won't believe how well you feel, and you're going to make their day big time. Think about the last mail you picked up. How many handwritten things were in there? None, right?
So let's analyze this a little more. So connecting with new people, you probably won't have their address.
Well, maybe, but if you connected with a new person, maybe that note can't be handwritten. Maybe it has to be something online. Maybe you found out where they are on social media. I just think there's got to be somebody somewhere that I used to do this when I was in real estate just because I thought it was important to stay connected without saying, do you want to sell your house or do you want to buy something? That you're just saying hi. You're just letting them know you're there and you thought of them today. And that's the simple note. You popped into my mind today. I wanted to let you know that. And
so I think, Mikki, we could make this happen. There's 2 ways. We could have it, Rob's talking about the deeper connection. So you could write a note, a thank you note. So I do this something that whenever it's like, I don't know, whenever you come across my mind or it's your birthday, I just write 10 things I like about you and mail it to you. But we could just do thank you notes for someone you know, or we could pre-write thank you notes that are somewhat generic and give them to strangers we just met or someone that does something nice to you throughout the day.
oh, I like that.
That would be fascinating. And you have to go out, because if we make that the challenge every day, that means every day you have to go out there and interact with someone new and, kind of put yourself in the position for them to do something. And then you can give them the handwritten thank you note.
Great idea. I love taking it to that level. I can see that happening.
I love that idea too, because my recommendation was to go out and give 5 compliments a day to people, whether you know them or you don't know them. But I really love that idea of pre-writing. You can get like a stack of just thank you cards for relatively cheap, and you could just write out, hey, love your hair, love your eyes, nice shoes, whatever it might be, and just giving those out.
So let's make it even easier. We could just use sticky notes. You can use or hold a piece of paper, but I love that, Rob. So you could pre-write your 5 compliments. So instead of thank yous, we'll move into a little bit of compliments. So we can have it be like, your shoes rock. And you have to go out and find someone whose shoes rock and be like, yo, I just wanted to give you this. Or find someone that has really cool hair. Be like, hey, ma'am, I just wanted to give you this. And it could be a sticky note. You could make it as fancy as you want. But I think that is a freaking cool challenge.
I like it.
I do too.
So you guys okay doing the?
Yeah, that's what.
Let's make it 3. Let's do 3 pre-written compliments that you have to hand out every day.
Love it.
I mean, you can knock that in 5 minutes. You go to a grocery store, you can just be like, nice shoes, nice hair, nice this. It doesn't really matter the compliment. The point is the acting and connecting, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But it spreads because it's an act of kindness.
Yeah.
So if you do that, whoever you do that to is going to, in spite of themselves, not that they're even going to think about it, but they're going to turn around before they get home that day. They're going to compliment somebody.
I gotta share something over here because I have these pins actually right here.
Look at
See it, and
this.
this was through some networking and training and leadership and self-improvement training that I attended. But it says on there, I'm a genius. And I love to hand these out when I go to and the people that I really make a nice connection with. I always go up to them and I have it in my, I was like, hey, put your hand out. I have a gift for you. And put this in their hand and they look at it and it says, I'm a genius. And I tell that, don't ever forget that about yourself.
Ooh.
So pins like this. Yeah.
All right. Well, Saam's a step ahead of us.
I came with show and tell.
I love it. I love it. This is the right episode for you, Saam. All right. So let's wrap this up and get about our days. Write 3 compliments on a paper and hand them to a stranger out in public. Simple enough?
Simple.
Sweet.
Perfect. All right. We're going to make that happen. Huge shout out. Thank you so much to our guests. We'll put you guys backstage and we'll wrap this up. We got our daily challenge. Thank you so much, guys, Rob, Mikki, and Saam. And thank you so much, viewers, for watching and having great questions. And hopefully you guys join us in this daily challenge. Hopefully you guys will all do it with us. I can't wait to see what compliments are written. And videos might be a little weird of people handing out compliments to strangers. But if you do it somehow, share them with us. Let us know. Go out there, improve your social health, connect with new people. I hope you guys had an